And to give his reaction to this development, we have former Presidential Legal Counsel Attorney Sal Panelo joining us now via Zoom. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Attorney.
Magandang umaga, Gretchen.
Okay, first, I want to get your reaction to this decision by the Court of Appeals. You shared it on your Facebook account. No? This was dated April 30. Kailan niyo po nalaman?
I think a copy of the decision was given to me 3 days earlier.
Before it came out?
Before it came out. In fact, nagtataka nga ako bakit the mainstream media ignored it. Kaya ako mismo nagpadala sa mga sa mga media outlets. Sabay na pinost ko sa aking Facebook account.
Okay, 3 days earlier po than April 30? Tama po ba?
Hindi. 3 days earlier na 3 days earlier ngayon. So, ibig sabihin, today is 16. So, 3 days earlier. The other day lang.
How do you read this decision saying that the Muntinlupa RTC decision is null and void, that there was grave abuse of discretion? The camp of Atty. De Lima says this was just a poorly written decision and there is room to revise what the judge wrote.
You know, when that decision came out, acquitting the former senator in 2022, I think, 2022, I was one of the first to assail the decision as being gravely erroneous because the decision was based on the recantation of the testimony of the principal witness, Ragos. And I was saying that there is nothing in the record that shows that Ragos' first testimony pointing to the accused as having committed the crime was never proven to have been made under coercion. There was no proof that he was intimidated or there was a threat to kill him if he did not testify the way he did. And so I said, if that is only the basis of your decision, a recantation, then you are violating the rules on evidence. A recanted testimony has always been viewed as very weak in considering the evidence against or in favor of the accused. And moreover, I said, there are evidence in the record that shows the guilt of the accused apart from the testimony of Ragos. Kaya sinabi ko, I was even egging. I said, the government should appeal this because it is against the law and against the evidence. In other words, kaya tama yung ginawa ng Solicitor General Maynard Guevara when he filed a petition for certiorari kasi there was an excess or lack of jurisdiction. Kaya sabi ng court, tama ang petition dahil yung mismong court ay violated the constitutional mandate. Kailangan kasi pag may decision ka, you have to explain exactly the facts of the case and then the evidence upon which your acquittal is based. Anyway, wala, hindi niya ginawa yun eh. Basta sinabi niya lang, since the testimony of Ragos was recanted, then there is no more basis for the guilt of the accused.
Well, Attorney, is it just a matter of rewriting that decision or could there be a retrial? We do know that there is a principle against double jeopardy in the Constitution that no person shall be twice put in jeopardy of punishment for the same offense. Ano pong ibig sabihin pag sinabing null and void yung decision ng Muntinlupa RTC? Binabawi ba yung acquittal na yon? At pwede bang itry ulit? Given nga po yung principle against double jeopardy.
Alam mo, para maging valid ang acquittal, kailangan one of the more important elements is may jurisdiction ang hukuman. But since the court has rendered the decision saying that there was a grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excessive jurisdiction. Di ibig sabihin, the element para ma-validate mo yung acquittal is missing. And therefore, it's null and void. Kung null and void, then there can be no double jeopardy. Now, as to your question, magkakaroon ba ng trial? Not necessarily. Ang sinasabi ng hukuman, kulang yung ebidensya that will show the guilt. Another thing, kulang din yung explanation mo kung bakit mo ina-absolve to. Wala kang pinopoint out ng mga evidence that will lead to the acquittal. Not even the law, wala ka rin sinasabi. Kaya mangyayari yan, there will be a continuation of the trial. As I said earlier, ang pinakamahalaga kasi doon, Gretchen, you should prove na yung kalakaran na nagsinungaling ka ay hindi mo ginawang voluntaryo. Madalit sabi, kaya ka nagsinungaling kasi inakot ka. Merong mga circumstances that force you to lie. Kaya nung mag-recant ka na hindi totoo yan. Ang katotohanan yan, hindi naman niya tinanggap ang pera o hindi ko naman ginano. Kailangan prubahan mo muna yun. Otherwise, walang maniniwalang hukuman sa'yo. Kaya nga ako nagtaka na on the basis of that recanted testimony, bigla siyang inabsuelto. Kaya I remember in my show and other interviews on that very day na in-announce, binanatan ko na ng binanatan niya. So kung mali yan, dapat mag-appeal kayo dyan.
Okay. With that said, what is the best scenario here? Is it the same judge that will be presiding over the hearings, or should this be raffled off to another judge, given that the ruling says that there was a grave abuse of discretion and over lack or excess of jurisdiction?
Well, the decision says it's remanded to the same court of origin. So the judge can proceed or he can recuse himself, or there might be a motion from either parties to inhibit himself to proceed with the case. So depende yan. Kung magkaroon ng recusal, o kaya naman nag-voluntary na siyang umalis, inarako niya.
Okay, on the part of Rafael Ragos, you said that there is a lack of evidence that he was threatened. He claimed that former Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre III forced him to sign an affidavit accusing Senator De Lima and his former security Ronnie Dayan of involvement in illegal drugs. Ano po ang dapat ma-produce na ebidensya ni Rafael Ragos, no, to certify that he was threatened, intimidated?
Unang-una, sinasabi niya, tinakot siya. And yet, there is no proof of that. Wala siyang testimonya kung ano yung pananakot na ginawa. Pangalawa, you must remember na yung recantation happened almost 5 years after the testimony was made in court. And in the interregnum, in the interval, alam mo ang ginawa ng Ragos, katakot-takot na nagpahayag siya. Paulit-ulit niya sinasabi yung testimonya sa hukuman. Sa congressional hearing, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, twice or 3 times niyang inulit yung mga testimonya niya. Moreover, yung sinasabi niyang natakot siya dahil Secretary of Justice, nawala na si Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre at that time. Ba't hindi siya lumabas? Kung totoo yung sinasabi niya. Kaya may problema talaga. May problema yung kanyang tsorya na kaya siya nagsinungaling, inirit lang siya, tinakot siya, will not lie.
Wait, Attorney, we'll get more clarity on this from the other side of defense, from the defense of Attorney De Lima right after. Pero gusto ko lang po kayo tanungin, no, on another note, in another topic, what are your reactions to the results of the midterm elections and the showing of the Duterte slate? Ano po ang natuwa po ba kayo sa naging resulta? Meron pong andyan po si Senator Bato, Senator Bongo, Rodante Marcoleta nakapasok, pero yung iba po ay hindi nakapasok. Kayo po, ano pong naramdaman ninyo dito sa sa ating halalan?
Well, for one, in my show, I have already said kung sino ang mga pwedeng lumabas yan. Sabi ko, most likely, maraming alyansa dyan. Kasi ang laman talaga sa Pilipinas, name recall, face recall, pondo, pera, and organization. But I issued an official statement regarding my position on the outcome of the results of the elections. I said the result is a complete repudiation of the Marcos administration's political campaign of retribution against the Duterte family. And there is an unequivocal voice coming from the electorate that it should stop. Otherwise, magkakaroon tayo ng problema. Baka magkaroon na naman tayo ng deja vu political upheaval. Sapagkat kung makikita mo, Gretchen, all those who went against the president, the former president at Inday Sara, bumagsak lahat yung nasa Quadcom, pati na sa Cebu na napakalakas, bumagsak din. Lahat halos na bumanat kay Duterte, natalo.
Hindi po
Kaya
ba impeccable
nakita
timing lang din po na naaresto ang dating Pangulo kaya nakatulong din sa bid ng mga senador?
Precisely, yun nga ang punto Nung sinira mo ang Presidente Duterte, nung nilabag mo ang kanyang karapatan, umalma ang tao, nagalit Kasi dati nangang galit dahil the administration, from their point of view, was not responding to the needs of the Filipino people. Tapos nilabag mo pa ang karapatan ng dating presidente. Tapos inaapi mo pa ang vice presidente. So nagka-doble-doble ang galit ng tao. Kaya inilabas nilang lahat yan sa eleksyon.
Attorney Sal, before I let you guys, wanted to ask about your colleague, Attorney Harry Roque, who is still in the Netherlands. There is a warrant of arrest out for him for qualified trafficking in persons. And he said that hindi siya mapapauwi hanggang walang desisyon yung kanyang asylum. Tama po ba yun? At ano pong should he stay outside the country?
Well, kung ako sa kanya, since abogado naman siya, at ang demanda sa kanya ay isang crime, bumalik na lang siya at harapin niya. Kung totoo sinasabi niya na wala siyang kinalaman, then madaling mapatunayan yan. Kasi in the first place, the burden rests on the prosecution. Kung hindi mapatunayan ng prosecution, sorry na lang, hindi siya makukonvict. I think ang problema niya, it's a heinous crime. Madaling sabi, hindi siya basta palalayain. Kailangan, kasi immediately, ikukulong siya. And he has to file a petition for bail. Pwede naman Pwede file agad siya ng petition for bail. At the prosecution will have to prove with strong evidence na guilty siya. Otherwise, i-release siya. Kasi kung hindi siya uuwi, yung tao, alam mo naman tayo mga Pilipino, pag hindi ka humarap sa akusasyon sa'yo, ibig sabihin guilty ka. Tama man o mali, yan ang perception. So makakasira sa kanya. So if I were him, umuwi ka na.
Umuwi na lang siya, oo. Pero sabi po niya, politically persecuted daw po siya, no? Oh, you don't agree?
Mahirap. Alam mo, mahirap yung political persecution at sinasabi niya. Kasi, mismong galing sa bibig niya kasi, during the congressional hearing, lumalabas na talagang abogado siya. Marami siya mga contradiction, inconsistencies. Kaya siya na-demanda galing mismo sa kanya.
So you don't agree that he is being politically persecuted, that there is merit to the investigations?
No, I do not think so. Kung ako siya sa kanya, abogado naman siya. Umuwi na lang siya. Harapin
Umuwi na
niya.
lang siya. Oo. Okay, maraming salamat po, Atty. Sal Panelo, for explaining and sharing your thoughts with us this morning. Once again, we have former presidential spokesperson, Atty. Salvador Panelo, joining us on Morning Matters.
Thank you for having me.